Ning Dao learns that after a long wait his interview is rejected by his employer. On the way out everyone laughs at him and calls him a loser. Walking out of the building and looking back he made a promise that he vowed to see it through to the end, that the promise was to bankrupt them and he would become rich. He didn't even make it out of the building properly, and something hit him, he fell down and got angry, but when he looked up he was shocked. It was Lily, his girlfriend, holding hands with another man. Ning Dao couldn't believe she was capable of such a thing. Lily cringed in shame at the sight of him and began to sweat, then clung and hugged her new lover as if Ning Dao didn't even exist. Her new boyfriend grabbed her by the waist and left, and Ning Dao stayed on the ground shocked by what she saw. But it doesn't end there. Lily's new boyfriend takes a few steps and tells her that the reason she wasn't accepted to work is because he's already taken it. Lily's boyfriend with a lot of confidence challenged Ning Dao to hit him, thinking that he is a big coward, but Ning Dao doesn't even hesitate and hits him in the face. Before you know it, Lily's boyfriend was already on the ground, beaten and bruised all over his body. Her boyfriend was screaming to call the guards for help, but by the time she reached the company building, Ning Dao had beaten her boyfriend to a pulp. Ning Dao swore he would do anything to get rich and get revenge. When suddenly a voice whispers in his ear and asks him if he is ready to do anything to become rich. He was shocked and couldn't understand what was going on and where the mysterious voice was coming from. The mysterious voice told him that it doesn't matter who she is, what matters is to tell him whether or not he wants to become rich. The voice once again asked him if he was prepared to do anything to become rich, and he shouted yes, just do it once. And suddenly he heard that Mr. Nang Shan, the biggest shareholder of the company he wanted to join, transferred him 5% of the company's shares, and after these words he passed away. Finally Lily came with the building guards to help her new boyfriend. The guards thought they were very powerful and handsome. They surrounded him and wanted to beat him up because Lily's boyfriend was an employee of that building. Ning Dao said she couldn't beat him up because he was the biggest shareholder of the company they worked for. Lily and her boyfriend started laughing loudly, saying that if he is the biggest shareholder, Lily's boyfriend is the CEO. Even the guards started laughing, saying that if they are the biggest shareholder, they are either the president or directors of the company. Lily's boyfriend got angry and ordered the guards to attack and beat him up. The guards wanted to jump him, but neither succeeded. That someone grabbed his hand. He was a big, handsome and tall man holding up the guard who was very short next to him. Even Ning Dao didn't understand what was going on, being very confused. Neither does he get a good grasp of what is going on, and the guards run away crying and shouting for the captain. Ning Dao was very happy but at the same time confused. He didn't understand who the superhero who saved his life was. And suddenly 3 agents appear and greet him and tell him that they are at his service. Suddenly he hears a voice greeting him. It was his lawyer Gao Li, who tells him that Mr. Tang before he died transferred all his shares to him. Ning Dao couldn't believe it. He stared unwaveringly at the share transfer agreement. He understood that something was wrong and that he should act as if everything was absolutely normal. The guards, Lily, and her boyfriend were shocked, speechless, and understood that everything Ning Dao said was true. The lawyer handed the necessary sheets to Ning Dao and looked at them very carefully. Ning Dao asked the lawyer where he should sign and how much he would get after signing the papers. The lawyer replied that after he signs the papers he will receive at least 100 million. Ning Dao finished signing the papers and handed them to the lawyer. In his mind there was great joy. Ning Dao started jumping up and down with joy and couldn't believe it was all true. Ning Dao quickly became evil and his power went to his head, and he already wanted to take revenge on everyone who had wronged him. The guards looked at him with great fear and frowned at his face and began to tremble. They didn't think long and started pointing at Lily's lover, and Lily left him there alone and ran away. Lily's boyfriend stood there shocked, speechless, and waited for Ning Dao to say something. Ning Dao didn't think long and ordered the guards to catch him, tie him to the tree, and they started chasing him. Lily's lover fell down and looked at the guards, who turned evil and betrayed him. They surrounded him and told him to guess what he was going to do next. They beat him up and beat him to a pulp. Lily's lover fell to the ground beaten, with torn clothes and many scratches. Ning Dao felt very good knowing that he had taken revenge for everything he had said. Ning Dao walked into the building where he wanted to get a job, and from there the employer could be heard asking him why he came back, that he wasn't going to get the job anyway and to leave the building as soon as possible. The employer nervously walks out the door pointing at Ning Dao. Immediately all the employees turned around and looked at the nervous employer. In an instant he was already surrounded by 2 guards and 2 agents. He became confused and scared. He didn't understand what was going on. Ning Dao's lawyer reminded him that it's not nice to talk like that with the company's biggest share owner. Ning Dao was thinking about what to do with him and how to take revenge. The employer couldn't believe his ears, and he was already even more scared. Ning Dao asked the lawyer, if he is the biggest shareholder of the company, then he has the right to fire whoever he wants, and the lawyer replied that yes, he can fire the employer if he wants to. A moment of suspense ensued as Ning Dao finally considered whether or not to fire him. Ning Dao didn't think extremely hard and shouted at him to leave the building because he was fired. The employer knelt down to Ning Dao and begged him not to fire him and that it was all just a misunderstanding. Ning Dao, however, ordered one of his agents to kick him out of the building as soon as possible. The agent grabbed him by his clothes and threw him out of the building, telling him not to come back. After all these events, Ning Dao goes out with his agents to enjoy the privileges he has, but outside was his ex-girlfriend Lily, who regretted it with all her heart, and ran to Ning Dao hugging him, and told him that it was all a mistake and that she is only his now. Lily grabbed his hand and told him that her ex-boyfriend wasn't half as good as him, and that she would like them to be together again. Ning Dao wasn't fooled, and told her that he wanted nothing to do with her. Lily told him that she always loved him and always would. Ning Dao told her that he doesn't like women who love the person just for the money, and kicked her that her clothes flew off too. Lily's ex-boyfriend watched all this and shouted at Ning Dao that you can't really do anything with money. To which Ning Dao replied that with money you can do anything you want to prove it. Ning Dao asked his lawyer if he had brought some money, and the lawyer asked for the suitcase full of money from the agent. The lawyer opened the suitcase in front of Ning Dao, and there was a lot of money in the suitcase. The lawyer told him that there was 1 million in the suitcase. Ning Dao took a pile of money from the suitcase and threw it up. Within seconds everyone who was around, agents and guards, started jumping for the money. Ning Dao told everyone to start beating up Lily's ex-boyfriend, and whoever did that would get 100 for each punch. No one thought much about it and they went to work. Ning Dao left there having his agents behind him and throwing money around. On the street he walked very happy and fulfilled, knowing that he was the most luxurious man on that street. When suddenly he hears that mysterious voice again telling him that the original task has been accomplished. And after that it told him that the next task is to spend 100 million within 48 hours, and that if he accomplishes the task he will get 250 points, and if he fails he will be castrated. Ning Dao got scared and asked why he had to be so cruel and that this would be very painful and bloody.